Welcome to Between X and Z with Wallace and Dozer. This is obstacle number 18, and we're going to go with mindfulness. It's a hard one for a lot of people. Once again, Twitter, Instagram, iTunes, please subscribe, follow, rate, comment, let us know. Let's go. Welcome to the show. I am Wallace.
And I'm Dozer.
All right, let's get to it.
We're back, baby.
We're back? Yeah, it hasn't been that crazy, but yeah, it's been a kind of a big month for both of us. Been kind of busy getting into things, leaving things.
We've been climbing the hill.
There it is right there. So sometimes when you climb the hill, as we said, you got to take a little break and reevaluate your route. And for me, you know, I had this crazy dream last night. And I'm not Martin Luther King here, but it was really interesting because like I popped two of Aubrey Marcus's Onnit's New Mood just because I had I had two of them and I wanted to relax. And it was gnarly because when they started hitting in about 30 minutes, you do get tired, and in a good way. And I had this dream where I was focusing on objects, and then I could like zoom in on these objects as much as I wanted to, and then look at any angle I wanted to of these objects and inspect them and fucking really focus on them. I've never had that kind of dream before.
What's Aubrey selling? The fuck is this, man?
I don't know.
Sounds like
man.
acid.
It was gnarly, and then it went into the full dream to where I was playing like hockey, and all of a sudden I was like a goalie, and I was taking shots, and I could feel everything with so much texture, and there's lucid dreams. I've had a few of those. It's been really interesting, but the reality of this one was I was focusing on everything I was doing. And it really made me wake up and think of the topic of today, which is mindfulness. I don't know what your thoughts are on mindfulness. Like, what comes to mind when somebody says that shit?
I used to think it was for pussies, to be honest with you.
Yogis?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I used to think that, like, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, I'm constantly mindfulness. I also, which I think a lot of people think this way too, is I used to think that mindfulness really is just like thinking.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I could see that.
Being mindful about yourself. And I mean, so I've always been like a guy that's in my head a lot. Always. Overthinking, overanalyze, over-worrying,
But you're an analyzer, like a data analyzer.
Yeah, where's the gimmick there? Where's the thing here? Like
this is fake.
Let's just put it this way: magicians don't work for me, except for David Blaine, because I like to see that guy almost die. He's not really a magician. He's like this. I'm gonna hold my breath.
He's like the Tim Ferriss of magicians.
I'm gonna hold my breath for 24 hours. Like
the ice thing,
man. Let's see it. It's like the college kid that's like, I'm gonna chug a fucking gallon of milk, man. It's like, okay, let's watch that. That's fun. But anyway, I mean, so mindfulness, something recently I've had to get into, and I say had to.
Yeah.
I say had to because I feel like you're either getting into mindfulness or you're getting into unhealthiness.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I really, that's not a catchy slogan. That's
you
honestly
hit it first at Between X and Z.
Coming up next, we're selling them for $9.99. No, but I really feel that way with it's. That's what really unhealthiness is. Everyone talks about like abusing things. It's like you're really not being mindful and practicing mindfulness. Like angry situations. That's another one.
That's huge.
Like every time someone does something,
cut you off, cut you in line,
and it's their fault.
Yeah,
that's the big key for me. It's really easy to be mindful, like, at least for me, like, okay, I fucked up. I was an asshole. Like, bringing myself to baseline. That's still hard, too. It's still hard. Don't get me wrong. But I'm more eager to do that than I am when someone else is wrong. And I have to just let it go.
You're like, that person is stupid.
Yeah.
It's such a bad insult. I have a buddy that is very intelligent, many degrees, and when he hates it, his biggest thing, you can call him whatever you want, his mother, whatever you want, but he hates when somebody calls him stupid or an imbecile or something. It's like the intelligence aspect. So when you see someone cut you off or knowingly make a terrible physics mistake or something, it's so hard to not let that go because it's their fault, as you said. But like being mindful, if you even just look at the dictionary, the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. Yeah, that's super bland, but
yeah.
Guess what? I like that way that you said like unhealthy, because you know what's unhealthy? Not being mindful when you're addicted to something else, or you're looking at your phone, you're thinking about too many things, you're listening to music.
And I don't even mean just like addiction unhealthy. I mean like it's fucking
around.
Physically unhealthy
all
to
around.
Be angry.
Yeah.
It's physically unhealthy to be worried a lot, to an extreme point, right? Like there's some natural worry, like am I gonna
survival food?
Am I gonna get fired here?
Yeah.
Am I gonna die?
Yeah.
Is there gonna be a huge problem?
Am I late?
Yeah, I mean, so like the thing about mindfulness is it's just like every other obstacle we're talking about. There's so many fucking things out there. There's so many different things that work for other people. Like I'll tell you what does not work for me. And this isn't to say it doesn't work. Is meditation. I for whatever reason cannot meditate.
I think I got a good bridge for that, because we've been talking off cast recently. We had a really good hangout together, listen to some vinyls and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And, we purposely kept it off cast because it was just time to recharge the batteries and stuff. And basically, one thing we both agreed on was just to start yoga. And I think like even once a month, dude. I've never participated in yoga. I know the stretches just from sports and all that stuff, and I'll do my own little routine for 10 to 15 minutes, but it's not yoga. It's not being somewhere present, listening to your breath with somebody kind of helping you guide. That's why people have so much success when like they do the Wim Hof retreats, not the bullshit seminars he puts on that's just for show and good for him. He's making money. Great. I'm happy. But I'm saying when you see the actually like holotropic breathing exercises where people get results and they trip and all that stuff, it's because they kind of have a good teacher. So I think we need to find a good yoga place that once a month we just do a drop-in, don't do membership, and fucking try to bridge that, because I'm with you. Meditation is fucking hard, but I think if we can bridge from yoga into that, then we can get into like floating and really.
No, man, it's
so hard.
I've done a float tank before.
Yeah, you said
I mean, because let's start spitting off some of the things that are mindful.
Yeah.
Mindful exercises. There's a lot. I mean, of mindfulness
everything
exercises.
In life, man.
And we're not going to hit them all because I'm not a fucking expert. But you know what I've done that is. That I don't know if it would be considered mindfulness, but it's under the meditation thing. Active meditation.
I've never heard of that.
Very odd.
Okay.
Well, and it's really for people that really struggle with shutting their brain down.
Like me.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
anybody.
A
today.
lot of men are like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of guys. Not trying to be sexist. I'm sure there's women, but a lot of men are like that. Like, where you stop thinking about one thing and 20 others like come in. And I'm sure there's a way to break that through really hard work and meditation. Don't get me wrong.
Early in the
it's
morning.
not like, but active meditation is, some people, you ever heard like, this sounds weird, but where people, because I haven't done this one, but they just kind of like blah, 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 and they shake. You ever heard that? You ever seen that like in a movie?
I've only seen it when they've messed up speaking and then like, blah, blah. Okay.
No, I'm not even talking about that. Like it's a ritual. Like
No,
they'll sit somewhere and go bah, 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 yeah, and like make weird. I know it sounds fucking weird. I've never done that one.
I just saw it in New York on the street, but I think he was not
I
sober.
think he was homeless and addicted to heroin. But so that's one form.
Uh-huh.
It's doing something, because effectively when you're making that crazy ass noise, or some people jump up and down.
Yeah.
Some people do. This is what I did: push-ups. Like. When you're in a situation, you do it to like calm yourself down.
Okay.
And be mindful of the situation.
So you're actively doing something versus just being quiet and.
Yeah, but not you got like. I don't know all the parameters of it, but those are some of them. Like the mouthing, like saying things, jumping up and down, dancing can be one. Singing, like screaming at the top of your lungs.
What's the goal of it, though? Like, what do you do out of it? Just to calm down and then what?
The goal is when you're doing something... Basically, this is what I understand. You're doing something that is forcing you to be uber present.
Nice.
So you do it in extremes, like, not extreme situations, but let's just say the old lady pisses you off. The guy cuts you off. Mm-hmm. You're nervous about something.
Yeah.
You have to have a difficult conversation with someone. those are the times you do it. Versus meditation, like, is more of a daily thing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if active meditation can be a daily thing either. I just know that there was this little, it was in a book I was reading or something, and it was a little blurb of it recenters your mind because you can't think about anything else while you're doing these things.
I think what you're finding is just a pretty way to say it. You're almost anchoring yourself. You know, you're bringing your. You ever had that feeling where you get kind of cloudy and you kind of just have so much going on, and you know there's a quote I think I've used in this cast before, but it's Kerouac's "Pain or love or danger makes you real again," and I love that real again part because to me it's almost like you're stopped. You're not in the clouds anymore. You're not in your head anymore. You're not analyzing because you're almost focused on the pain, the love, or the danger because it's the one thing on your mind. As we said, like that's a real fucking thing. Something's gonna happen, and that's an anchor in a way. I like that because well,
that's what mindfulness is. I mean, on a lot of levels, it's like, you know, I also relate the two, and could be wrong here. When I try to do mindfulness stuff, I relate it to gratefulness. Because that sounds like some religious, holy bullshit or some psychobabble. Being grateful is like a real experience.
Remember Mark Sasson talked about a little bit in the Rogan cast.
How he wakes up?
He didn't touch on it. Yes, let's be honest. If I was waking up in Malibu and I wasn't
on
working,
the beach,
and he was semi-retired, then came back.
And I sold like steak in
I listened to his podcast.
He's a cool guy.
Tate Fletcher, and he really loves what he does as far as like helping people discover.
Well, you know, we always joke about that, but like
he's killing it.
You know what though? The thing is we've had this on this cast before too.
Yeah.
That guy's dream to you or to us might be chaotic to him, you know, and
he seems like he's doing good.
But if he doesn't have those steps in place, man, and that's what's kind of unique about mindfulness.
Yeah.
I almost think it's really hard to truly fuck yourself if you are practicing mindfulness, and that's why it's almost odd that it's not more common. You hear about it a lot, but it's almost like hearing about working out, right? Like or eating healthy. It's like
sure.
That's for some people. But the reality of it is being mindful. Not to sound like some hippie freak, dude. Like that's part of growing up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My son, one of the reasons kids are a pain in the ass is because they cannot regulate their emotions.
I was just going to say that, emotional intelligence.
And they are no different than us. Like, that's actually why you get mad at them.
Look at a couple drinks in a guy, and they're the same as a child, right?
Or the difference is, you're just pissed off, but you're not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're not acting it out in a way maybe that annoys other people. But you might be acting it out in a way that fucking prohibits you from advancing in a job.
Yeah.
That prohibits friends around you. You know, destroys your relationships. Like, destroys you mentally.
Your body, too.
Yeah, your body, physically.
Yeah.
I mean, anxiety and stress. Like, that's where mindfulness to me... but it's one of those fucking other obstacles, right? Like, we talked about the diet. What's the right way? Because trying meditation, it is hard.
It's very
trying
hard.
Yoga, trying there's a lot of different
breathing,
active meditation, reflection, journaling, I think is a form of mindfulness.
Well, I mean, look what you're getting into, like guitar, you know, like I played it as a kid, I sold it, got rid of it, but this ties in exactly what you're saying. When I started grad school and I was really stressed with some of this because I was climbing a fucking hill that was way too big for me
Mount
at
Everest.
the time. Yeah, it was big. I'll say K2 because I hear Everest is easier than K2 because it's the way that it goes up. But
isn't K2 in Afghanistan?
Yeah, close, very close to it. And
that might be why it's a little harder too.
Yeah, it's getting there. But like for me, starting to play the guitar was meditative. It was mindful. However you want to call that word. I was now, instead of focusing and stressing on all these different things, I was centering myself to one project. You know what I mean? And they always say that, like, us as multitaskers in a society, people always think that, like, ADD is, you know, evolution. We're meant to be multitaskers, but I don't think we've caught up to that yet.
No, man.
We're fucked. There's a lot of people doing too much.
Well, and I think ADD, I think it exists. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think, though, some people don't have it. They just don't know how to
exercise.
Well, they don't know how to find their outlet. And I would say, not ADD, but I've fallen in that category a lot. But I know a lot of people that have, it's just like bipolar, right? You hear all these psychological terms, and then someone's like, oh, you're bipolar, or you're narcissistic. The actual people that are those, it's a pretty small percentage of the population, but a lot of us have narcissistic tendencies or ADD tendencies that could still be problems. Like, and, mindfulness, I agree with the guitar. I mean, I haven't done it long enough to really go, oh, yeah, this is a thing. But I notice in myself, and certainly the older I got, and the older I'm getting, I like completing a task without any shortcuts, doing it. Yeah. And I like the struggle of that task. And I think it relates to mindfulness. But it's really hard because while I like this task, there's other tasks I try, and I might not give them enough shot, and it pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do. I'm mindful. Nah, I'm mindful here. Yeah. You got to be mindful, like, with every fucking thing. Have you ever been
so fucking hard?
Have you ever been so pissed off, and like, deep down inside, like, I'll tell you when I do this to my wife. Like, I'm so pissed off, and I know that there's an easy way to just be like, you know what, I was an asshole.
And just snip it, done.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, it's over. Cut the losses. It's over. I'm done. But you kind of hold on to that shit a little bit. You're just like, fuck them, And maybe not that even that intense.
That's mindfulness, because instead of being in that moment and saying that, you're almost like drifting it away and going.
Well, that's the opposite of mindfulness.
Keeping the ammo for later or whatever. I struggle with that too, man.
That's the absence. That's where most people are. I use this analogy a lot, but the guy that's pissed off about his coffee at Starbucks, there's something fucking wires are not hitting deeper, right? Yeah, like, what I think Confucius said it. I saw it on like a sign once, and it was be gentle and be kind, for everyone you meet has a struggle that you do not know about. And like, and you even go further with this mindfulness. We all have these struggles that sometimes we don't fucking know about.
I know.
I mean, how many people? I could tell you in my own life I've done that. Like, not even knowing that what I was doing was wrong, or I was a problem, or you offend someone. And, I mean, we can get off on 30 tangents on mindfulness,
that's
a
correct
really
thing, because I see mindfulness as, imagine there's a consciousness that's the present, it's a straight line, and we're trying to walk it. You wake up in the morning, you kind of are present. You're a little groggy, but like, that's the best time that people say to do meditation. I was reading Richard Branson's blog today, and he says that he has to do physical activity right away in the morning, because it just brings him
he's a guy with ADD.
Is he?
Or ADHD, yeah.
He's so all over the place, but like I really liked reading this today, because it was all about having fun. And I like that mindful thing, because the mindfulness tying into the fun, because we can get lost in so many different things, whether it's holding on to an argument or getting mad about whatever it may be. And we always, towards the end of the day, when you're trying to go to bed, how far do you think you are away from that present moment? You know what I mean? Because we're finishing emails at night, we're fucking, you're putting kids to bed, you're trying to do this, and this. People put on the TV to just block that away, and then you're even farther away from present.
Well, this is something you haven't experienced yet.
What?
But kids.
Ugh.
Well, but no, seriously, like, one of the things I think about, and some people are going to say, oh, you're just a terrible father or whatever. Some guys are going to be like, oh, no, I know exactly what the fuck you're saying. Well, because this is what also led me to mindfulness. I'd come home, and in my reaction to things would be, I just fucking worked. I just came home.
Yeah.
But really, I started to think, well, what am I doing? What am I doing that my son or my daughter or my wife's attention
you have two now.
is, I know, God, don't remind me. Don't remind me. She's getting to the age where you gotta like, oh, yep, Abby.
Oh, God.
Abby, little babies are there.
Yeah.
But, like, I sit and think, and I go, that was my first defensive reaction. Like, I just got home. Not to my kids, but to my wife. Like, just give me a little bit. What the hell?
Yeah.
And then I thought, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, you're checking your phone.
So you're centering yourself right there. That's great.
You're going to 4. Yeah, but it took a long time and a lot of obstacles, a lot of fights. Well, and it's not. This is also the bitch of mindfulness, just like every fucking thing else. Right? Just like working out, just like eating healthy, just like practicing a guitar. It's consistency, man. And most people, when they get off the mark a little bit, they fucking give up.
It's like a gym membership. It's always crowded in January, about April.
Yeah. Because it's hard. Shit gets in the way. Yeah. Life gets in the way, man.
But why does it? That's where we let the mindfulness come in. Like, I think that the one task thing is something that does tap into a little bit of the tribe and the ritual aspect of the home, of our ancestors. That's why I like Sasan's ritual of getting up and being grateful for. He says what? He drinks a coffee, looks at the ocean because it's a great place to be, but he's grateful for all that. Which there's a lot of assholes that probably wake up, kick out some hooker, and don't even care where they're at. So at least he has this ritual. I think I need to find a ritual, and I've been getting it with the surfing in the morning. Being up 5:30, getting to the river, surfing at 6 a.m. sharp, having this routine really sets me for the day. Like I feel so much more focused, not just because of the obvious, the blood flow, all that good, the physiological.
Well, you also start to handle things a little bit better when you're
What is that?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's we're talking about mindfulness, but we're starting to get into other things because I think that, to me at least, that's one of the hardest parts of mindfulness is consistency and I like that word ritual because it's real hard. You'll start a ritual and then it just might get old or life got in the way. Yeah. You don't do it for 2 days in a row because you had another obligation, and it's or it's laziness. I don't want to fuck.
It is.
You know what? I actually got. If I have something to do tomorrow, I got to wake up at 4. I got to wake up at 4:30.
And you're thinking about the future beyond that.
Yeah, like oh man, like you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna stay up late and do nothing tonight. Escaping.
Going away from the path.
Yeah, escaping is the real.
Natural tendency for people, that's myself included.
Everyone, man. Everyone escapes. We whether you're watching TV. You're watching a movie. I mean, if you think about a movie. Yeah. By the way, I went and saw Dunkirk.
Oh, fuck.
Great movie.
Is it?
Great.
I was going to see it, but I did. I haven't seen it yet.
Good fucking movie, man.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that guy could make a movie about a turd, and it's going to be an Academy Award.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a big old turd. It's like he'll spin it some way. That guy's talented at what he does. He's a hell of a storyteller.
Yeah.
But
stories.
I did think about that in the movie. Like, it's just. You're just kind of like escaping.
You're tripping balls. You're looking at your fantasy. You're gone. Imagine when that's VR. We're gonna go even deeper.
That's scary shit, man. That's a whole other conversation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, like, and that's okay sometimes.
It's fun.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But where things start to really bother you is when you're not handling the shit you actually need to emotionally process, physically process, and then you're using it to escape.
Yeah,
that's where drinking, anything that really comes in can turn into that.
Drinking's
problem.
A huge escape. Just we were talking about offcast with 2 podcasters we enjoy. Ferris has a great morning ritual. He tweets about it all the time. He has a journal in the morning. He'll drink probably 800 cups of coffee.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But he shows people in one of these blogs that what he writes and kind of what he does, and I think it's just awesome because that right there is he's finding himself in the present. Like, today I need to do this, and this. He's not just letting it wander. He's fucking corralling whatever he can. And like Brian Rose, I told you, will walk to the London Tube and then say out loud like 10 times, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to be nice to 5 people. I'm going to be doing mantras. I don't even know what they're called, where you say something to like build yourself up to do it.
I've heard them, just people call them goals.
But that's a ritual.
Day goals.
There you go. But that's, to me, that's a form of mindfulness. You're bringing yourself in the present of today. You're not thinking about your vacation next week.
Yeah.
Or how shitty you did yesterday. It's like trying to get today's activities off. But again,
from my experience, where a lot of people go with goals, and myself included, is it's easy to practice a ritual when shit is going well.
Yeah,
it's easy to be mindful. Like, yeah,
look
fuck
at the ocean. Look at the ocean.
yeah. Wow, this is awesome. You know, I don't think when people get off of the rhythm and off of the ritual.
Yeah.
At least, again, just speaking for myself, when I get off of that path, you almost feel it. The more conscious you are about something, the more you go, oh, something's brewing. And sometimes this is the bitch of being a human. Sometimes you physically can't control it. You can't even decipher sometimes the feelings you're feeling. Like, happiness is pretty good. Like all the good things, joy.
Sometimes, yeah.
But like, it's real hard to process. Like, why the fuck did you, Wallace, just fuck up my goal or my day or my ritual? Or, and I tell you, I've been getting into Stoic philosophy with this because that was another. Yeah, that was another thing that we talked about, and I think is real relevant for this topic. Although some people have the impression that Stoic behavior is absent of emotion. That's like the term. You've heard that term before. Well, that was really Stoic of you. You ever heard that? Like,
never.
It's like when someone's just like stone face, like,
Oh, okay.
It's like a saying. I've heard it before.
Okay.
Before I ever got into Stoic, and I'm certainly no Stoic expert. There's a lot of people, though. It's interesting because I would say it's coming back. It's a philosophy that, basically died because it's not a philosophy of the wonders of the world.
Like a reward philosophy?
Yeah, it's not a philosophy that asks questions about the world. It's a philosophy that I shouldn't say figures out, but that's the only word I can come up with. It's a philosophy that tries to understand how to best live a life.
It's a good philosophy.
We're not talking, what is the meaning of the world? What is the meaning of the... No. Guess what, though?
It's just handling the ride,
this
questioning it.
This is what it is.
Cool.
This is what we know. What I know is I get very angry. What I know is I get very depressed. Yeah. What I know is I get anxiety, But what causes those things? Ryan Holiday has a lot of good books on this. And anyone that's struggling, whether it's personal, business, there's a great book, two great books. The Obstacle is the Way. That's a New York Times bestseller.
I've heard that.
And that's its whole thing is Stoic.
Yeah, I've heard that name before.
Ryan, well, he's a big...
He's quite big, right?
I would say he's a big author, yeah. I mean, really some big books. And the other one is Ego is the Enemy.
That's the one I've heard of. Hasn't Rogan talked about that or something?
Dude, I don't know, but I read that book.
That's right, I know who he is.
Ego is the Enemy is a phenomenal book. It sounds like, like when you just look at the title, it's like, some hocus pocus bullshit of some guy going to tell me, just curb your ego. And that's not what it is. He kind of covers what is the ego. And then he covers, here's the times that it comes up that is really noticeable. The rise of something while you're in something, whatever that something is, life, marriage, business, and then the fall when something bad happens, when all these little different plays of the ego. And not only that, he gives like these examples. Kind of some examples you probably heard before, and then some examples that you just haven't, and because that's really what I've taken from Stoic behavior is your ego is what really affects you, right? Yeah. Like the guy cuts you off. Dissect that for a little bit. Is he an asshole? Is he enough to affect your whole trajectory of your day? No, but there's a little bit of you that goes, what? He doesn't give a fuck about my time. It's his world. I'm just living in it. I'm not trying to get anywhere either. And the reality of it is it's a person that just made a poor judgment. He doesn't even know who I am. And that's it. Yeah. And move on. It's just kind of, there's a lot to it. I mean, and I don't know, you've recently started to kind of not dive into it because I'm certainly no expert, but you have a little bit, right? Like
like the ego or
no, what like Stoic behavior, Stoic philosophy kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I've just slowed down a bit. Of I want to say last year I was so obsessed with the biggest question of life. I've been around, I've been calm, I've found what I've needed to get me by, and it's been really nice. But then I think you say recently I've been growing, and I think I've started growing because I stopped chasing that dragon last year. And it was only recently where I've really calmed down from philosophies, opposite of Stoicism, where I'm trying to answer why. Like, what's above this? Okay, here's the universe, here's whatever God. Okay, what's even above that fucking thing? And as much as you got tripped up in that rabbit hole of the universe, I kind of did too recently. And that's what stopped me. I go, you know what? We don't know. No one knows. And for me, I really enjoy what you just said about the stoic way of just understanding how to really control this ride that you're in. And that's mindfulness, right? Because you have things you can control and things you can't control. And when people are freaking out, I was listening to the Aubrey Marcus live at with Duncan Trussell's Family Hour podcast, and it was really cool because two guys you could tell were really tripped out about, like, maybe having an experience on, psychonauts or whatever they were doing. They expanded their mind, and they didn't know how to handle that in real life. So you could tell these people had a lot of anxiety. And Marcus and Trussell gave really good examples of, like, just really start enjoying the little day-to-day things, like whether it's loving kids, waking up and seeing your kids, or kissing them, or talking to them, or hearing them say something funny. Like, focus on these little loves and start connecting all these things together, and bring yourself back from stuff you can't control. And I thought that was really cool. That was very stoic to me, right? Like,
yeah,
it's almost like trying to just control what you can.
And there's a lot of deeper stuff in stoic.
I need to get into it. I do.
It goes real deep. Like the big one, there's just some things that I really enjoy about it. The pleasures is one that I really, it's just right. Like, you can argue. It talks about kind of the pleasures in life and the things that, whether that's sex, money, power, it talks about like those things. Like, and it's not saying, like you might hear in a religion or another philosophy, like those are just bad.
Like Buddhism, desires.
It's bad to have desires, right?
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true, right?
Yeah.
It's not, and also that creates shame because everyone has a desire, right?
Catholic religion's heavy on that.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean,
and
it's
shame.
And it's interesting because, not to get into a religion a little bit, it's almost like a lot of religions kind of peek their head up and like, wow, that's a good idea. Like, that's a really human truth, right? Like Jordan Peterson thing, that is a human truth. Watch what you're doing, love other people in your life, and realize that you are very small and should be grateful for your time on this planet, and of course I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of like stoic behavior is a little like that without getting into the weeds. Like, yeah, you're going to have pleasures, you're going to have desires, you're going to have things, but if those pleasures control your life will end. Like, it's going to be an unhappy existence because you're going to be chasing something that,
like me last year.
Well, I mean, like everyone.
What was the pleasure of finding out more? That reward system of, like, holy shit, and wondering, that's another dimension. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and wondering if there is always better. If there's always something around the corner. If the grass is greener on the other side. And kind of stoic is like, well, why don't you play around your yard for a fucking minute?
What was, I think it was Henry David Thoreau who said, only a fool stands on an island of opportunity and looks at another piece of land to go to. Like, and, you can make what you have here. What you just said is exactly what Aubrey and Duncan were talking about as far as the pleasures. So, I haven't gotten into this. I truly think that, like, stealing fire from Stephen Kotler and I want to say Jamie something, forgive me for butchering and forgetting that last name, but stealing fire is all about flow state. And flow state is interesting because you have, this one moment where you're not only just present, but you're like, you're almost blasted beyond the present moment. And that's interesting because you get that when you're surfing, playing sports and stuff, when you're truly in the moment, but then beyond it. So the interesting thing about I think flow state is a piece of mindfulness, but just even beyond it. Because if you think about, once again, flow state, you're in that present moment, and then you're like lost in time because time doesn't exist. But when you bring things back to mindfulness, you got to have those pleasures in there. So what Aubrey was kind of paraphrasing from Stealing Fire was that they consider that, they called it a hedonic calendar, or hedonic calendar. I don't know how they pronounced it or spell it, but it's basically, hedonism is all about overdoing your pleasures, right? So if you have a calendar, you're separating that to where it doesn't fuck up your day-to-day. So that's exactly what you just said, which is, once again, it's very hard because, hey, have you ever had a bag of chips and you ate maybe 2 chips?
Yeah.
What happened with the next couple? You crushed it,
whole
right?
Fucking bags.
Because
gone.
there it is. Like, you're not splitting these things up, which is so hard to do in every aspect of our life.
Well, I've been trying to look, the keto diet was big, and I'm not on it anymore, but I was telling you this. I've been trying to look at food and other aspects of my life, like a bank account. I got so much money I can spend in a day, a daily limit, and I can't make any overdrafts, but I can save some. I can add to the bank account and work it out. But yeah, and that's kind of like how I try to. Again, that's for the diet and the keto.
That's
but
really
if you
interesting.
You really do look at that on a lot of other aspects of life.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Like, little things bother you. What's really fucking important? Like, what do I actually have to spend my time on? Well, that's the people I love, right? That's my family. It's my friends. It's the things I enjoy, because I think that's another thing people really fucking forget. Like, you have to have time to enjoy things
things
for
like
your
that.
healthy things, right? Not those crazy pleasures, all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like those are the things I really need to spend my time on, that I need to, make withdrawals from, and
cool,
also at the same time, because those things, they kind of balance your checkbook out, right?
Like, you've heard this before.
They make deposits
between X and Z. It's called a pleasure bank, and that was Dozer trademark. Do you continue?
Yeah, but no, I mean, seriously, like, you start to take a look at things like that.
Yeah,
and then the days you're operating low, because I've been poor. And and I really it does. I
still feel like I am poor.
Well, that's kind of the rat race of being an American.
Yeah,
on a lot of levels, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know. Trust me.
Guess what? Someone's always got something more than you, and someone's always got something you want, or people are telling you something you should have. And
that holidays ego thing comes in right there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, ego is.
It's a bitch.
But that's really what you're talking about with mindfulness. Like, you're practicing mindfulness.
Trying.
You should get away from the ego.
Yeah.
And I'm not directing that at you.
No,
I'm saying,
I will take it.
like,
it's
every
so hard.
fucking interaction, if you start to just focus on it for just a little bit, and I really notice this at work. When I have an interaction, work is a really good example of this stuff, because a lot of times people let that they let that stay with them, right? Like, they let it just stick with them. Like, can you fucking believe what that guy
said?
This
fucking guy.
This guy. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Well, hey,
fucking asshole.
Wife making that same casserole tonight.
Yeah. Like, or something happens. Stupid shit happens. You have to you stay late. You got to do other things. Someone didn't pick up the right slack.
That's the problem.
And you stew in it, and then you build. From the ego, you build resentment, and from other things, you build resentment too. Sure. But that's like, those are huge withdrawals from the bank account. Actually, you're taking out a fucking loan. You're borrowing someone else's money to get through, when you really, are not doing those right withdrawals and those deposits that you should be doing.
I have an example of that today. So I missed a dentist appointment because my mind has been crazy this week. There's been a lot of change in my life, and my mind has been,
Dentist is one you can miss, by the way.
I know, but the problem is I signed a piece of paper that says it's $25 for a no-call, no-show appointment.
Oh, fuck them.
And I was looking...
Get off your high horse, dentist.
Get this. I was looking at blogs on how to fight this fucking thing that's my fault. So, just like what you're saying...
That is funny. Yep.
I was just looking up, like, how could I avoid a legality issue and then call this person and just tell them to fuck off unless they take that fee off. But guess what? It was in a voicemail. It was in an email. It was in all the communications I use daily that I had an appointment today at 4:30, and I still missed it. So you know what I'm going to do? I was just thinking about letting it stew, and then on the way, just kind of driving around later tonight, I said, I'm just going to pay it. It's my fault. That to me, I brought myself in the present moment and used some logic and was like, it's my fault. It's me. Look at me. I'm the fucking idiot.
That's so
it's
hard.
It's not their fault. They're busy.
Have you ever had someone, let me go back. I was hearing that, I read something that we say we're sorry way too much.
Yeah,
as a society.
I apologize should be better. Sorry is like a deep remorse or
something.
I
was wrong.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And also, what sorry turns into is just a thing you say. Think about it. Someone,
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to. Sorry.
Oh,
Try to watch that. Everyone, just focus on, because I've tried this, and it's freaking difficult.
Well, look at the people that say no. They're like, excuse me, sir, do you have any money? No, sorry. No, sorry.
No, sorry.
Why can't you just say no?
No. Or like,
no.
You know what? I'm not going to give it to you. Like, more honest approach. Because sorry turns into an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns into really, it's not very empathetic.
Yeah.
And like, what you know, where you can go with that is, like I said, it's really powerful. I was on a phone call with this guy. And he was being kind of an ass. Like, he was just upset about but about something like he wanted me to meet him somewhere. And I don't even know him, you know. You'd have to understand what I do for a living,
sure.
But we're not getting into that. And he's like, "Yeah, just show me this, you know,
this thing.
Meet me, show me." And I'm like, "I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry."
I got a dentist.
I didn't say I did say I'm sorry. I did say I'm sorry because I wasn't practicing this time. But that's not the point of the story. You know, I was just like, "Hey, that's not within my protocol. Like, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah.
And the guy just was like, I'm baffled you wouldn't take the time to do that. Like, I'm shocked, and I'm like, and I was just calmly trying to, like, hey, you got to understand something, like this and this. So, long story short, about 5 minutes later, we're in this conversation, and I am starting to get irritated. Like, not showing it, but I'm physically like, okay, this guy's annoying me. And out of nowhere, he goes, you know what? I'm sorry. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate it. And I was like, I just like was stopped.
That's even sad. Though I was sad because it doesn't happen often.
Even though I wasn't, that's why it was. That's why, because it doesn't happen that often. When someone, and it's not like he you know, maybe he could not have said sorry. He had nothing to be sorry about, but like that brutal honesty of, hey, you know what? I just wasn't in the right mindset when I had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And that's it. I was wrong. Like, I took it too far. I said the wrong things. Whatever you need to say.
Kept going at it, yeah.
But, like, dude, it was powerful.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was really powerful. And it's, like, kind of what you're saying.
Well,
like,
that was, like, a positive thing that spread to you. Like, for example, someone that I work with, a higher up, is getting overworked beyond control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad to watch. And it's trickling down, and you could just see the physical health, like you were talking about earlier. You know, we got in early in the morning. I want to say it's a couple of weeks ago. All of a sudden, I hear a screech. So I park my car, I hear a screech, and then I see her coming in, and then she parks, and then all of a sudden, she pulls out of her spot, and then comes over to me, and then is like talking to me about something. You just high strung out on something, and then a car pulls up, and then it just stops right next to her, and it's a lady, and then the lady just goes, "Did you even look?" And then my boss has been so just tripping out. You know, you can imagine like, "Oh fuck you!" She just goes, "I'm so sorry. I've been having the worst morning that I've had in a very long time." And the lady's her eyebrows, you know, the monkey way, it's just monkey anger. You could physically see the nonverbal communication completely lightened up, like you just said. Completely lightened up, goes, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "I don't know."
But
and
dude,
goes,
that
to me,
like it sounds like something that is nothing.
Like a weird, like,
because
level drop.
Dude, there's a saying, and like, you know how I am with religion. Like, I like to poke in it and understand some things.
Yeah, challenge yourself.
Got that a lot from Peterson.
Yeah.
There's a saying, and I love it, and I never understood it. You know, how do you get rid of darkness? You shine light on darkness. And now, and you know, okay, what is that psychobabble?
No, that's a universal
philosophy?
theme.
Yeah, it's just a thing. Like, that's how you get rid of darkness.
Yin and yang,
Dark room,
whatever.
Turn it on. It's gone.
Hey.
You know, and why those two stories are really crazy, because it is mindfulness.
100%.
And it's honesty. It's self-honesty
too. Like,
I mean,
weird.
well, being honest is humility.
Absolutely.
The most of the time, like,
opening.
Man, I was an asshole. I did something
I'm
wrong.
so sorry. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, because there's nothing that person can truly say now that is out of a good intention.
Yeah.
Like, it is. You have a right to be like, you almost hit me.
Yeah, we could have ruined our days, but with
What the
money,
hell?
my car, my kid could have been
You know what?
whatever. Like,
I was wrong.
yeah,
I'm not having a good morning.
yeah.
My fucking my
Blah,
wife
blah.
left me. Yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
my wife left me. I just realized I have cancer. My mom's dying. I fucking,
So what was that saying you said from? Is it Confucius?
I think
You don't
so.
know.
Be gentle, be
There it is,
kind
yeah.
for everyone you know, or everyone you meet is struggling with something.
See, do you think Zen is mindfulness? Being
You know, I
Zen?
don't know much about Zen.
Zen is I don't know. Like Zen could be fucking. That's when we get into like it's probably the Asian version of mindfulness. I don't know. People are probably gonna shit on me, but you know when people use the word
We're
Zen,
talking about mindfulness. Fuck them.
fuck that person.
Yeah, fuck those
No,
assholes.
but Zen is so overused now. It's like you talk about like
All this shit is overused.
Everything's
Let's be
overused.
honest. Mindfulness is very overused. It's not
Yeah.
talking about the real point. Because I think there is a huge correlation with mindfulness that is self-honesty. Because with self-honesty, you it is really hard to get off of the mark when you are self-honest.
Mhm.
I was getting this because I actually screenshotted this, and I am not a quote guy.
Okay.
I
like quotes.
I like them.
Depends.
I like them.
Depends. Oh,
But
quote snob.
there's some people that write them all over places, and
Fucked up.
and those people suck.
Well, Instagram people do like everyday quotes,
And it kind of
it's like,
annoys
oh.
me sometimes. And it's like, also, I think some people aren't really understanding the quote, and that's why I love Stoic stuff, because there's this too. This is by Seneca, which is a huge guy in Stoic.
Okay.
You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. And I was just sitting there, and I thought about that one for a little bit. Yeah, because there's a lot of power there, like, and that's
Both worlds.
to me
yeah.
that's self-honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, in fear, most of the time, most people do act like mortals. Like, everything, this is going to destroy me. This is
Yeah.
going to be the worst thing in the world. But then guess what? The same type of people say, why can't I have what that guy has? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Because, or like, why can't someone like me? Why can't I have more friends? Why can't I fucking learn the guitar? Why
Did you ever
can't
see Chappelle's? I think I've talked about this. The Haters Ball from Chappelle's show.
No.
It's fucking hilarious because it's all pimps.
Chappelle is
They
one
call it
of-
the Haters Ball though. This is before hater was a big word, and he gets iced tea on there, and he's just riffing. He's like, it's all about the hating. So it's just like, why come that guy got to have a better car than me? Why come he got a nicer suit than me? Why come his hoes look nice? It's just really funny because of the way that people just fucking hate, because they're just bitching about what they don't have. You know, ego. I'm Mr. Once again the holiday guy, but Zen is not. I mean, Zen ties more into meditation. I guess it's just the Japanese kind of section of getting enlightenment through meditation. But you know, they throw Zen around too much. People are like, oh, he's pretty Zen today. You know, I don't know. I think mindfulness is just way more within our reach. You know, I don't want to shave my head and go live in the Himalayas to find nirvana. I just don't. I think you can find nirvana, I'm assuming, with having a kid, getting married, like these things, these
Nirvana
little
or
pleasures,
hell, depending on
where you land. But
well, I mean, but again, though,
enlightenment's supposed to bring you to
again,
that.
mindfulness.
Yeah,
It depends on how you look at it.
yeah,
You know, and one last thing,
yeah.
just because I'm on these quotes, Marcus Aurelius. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining.
See that? Well, that goes into Stoicism, right? It's bringing you to just not why is this pain happening? Is there a God? No, it's fucking just deal with it. Do it.
Or is that, are they purposely doing that to me?
Yeah, is someone pulling the strings up there or whatever?
And this is getting off of mindfulness, but I don't know why I read this book. I was getting in an airport, and I, for whatever reason, didn't have a book, and I saw this book called Rising Strong.
Good name.
Yeah, and it's by a lady. What the hell is her name now? I can't think of it. She gave a TED talk. She's a big
Liza Minnelli.
Oh, God. That reminds me of South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. Your ass is big as Liza Minnelli.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
No, your ass is big and red. Who am I going to pretend you are? Liza Minnelli? I fucking love that movie.
Oh, they have no shame. Those guys have no shame.
Well, interesting
the
shame.
Best part.
Because that's kind of what there's a part of this, right? Yeah. This, man, I cannot think of what her name is.
But whatever. So
whatever.
Artist.
Writer.
Yeah.
Rising Strong. Famous book. And it's about the story you're making up. And, I just started reading. I was on a plane. And then I just couldn't put the damn thing down because there's so much little stuff in there that is relating to this. And it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of getting off of mindfulness and more about, like, almost kind of how you get to mindfulness. Like,
that's interesting.
She's talking about how things in your life happen. And a lot of times, you're not telling yourself the true story. You're telling yourself this fabricated story that you're making up, right? Like, you might say to me, I really need you to do more for me. Whatever. Let's say we work together. You're like, I really need you to do something for me.
Sure.
And I kind of take that as, okay, he's lazy. All right, like write that little story. He's lazy. He doesn't care about my time or my family.
He's dumping it all on me.
He's dumping it all on me.
Fucking dick.
He thinks that he's my boss and he's better than me. You start to live in those stories, right?
Damn, yeah.
And that's
creating
really
characters. That's a character right away.
Yes.
Evil.
And there's a plot.
Yeah.
And then there's all these little courses that happen through it. And I mean, she goes into great detail about
That's
it.
Interesting.
And she talks about this scenario of how her and her husband were fighting, and because that's really what it was about. Like, he said an offhand comment, and they were swimming or something like that.
What does an offhand mean?
I don't know.
What is that?
I use it a lot. I think it
funny.
means kind of like, oh geez, you say something you don't even know what it means. I think it means like, I know what it means. What it means is like, it's kind of like an inappropriate comment. Like, it's, why did you say that?
Yeah,
that's not really
a comment that is made without previous thought or preparation.
Yeah, like,
nice.
You're looking like you gained some weight.
Maybe you
that was real
hand.
offhand. Yeah. Like, fuck you, man. You couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
But like, so anyway, long story short, she was talking about her husband didn't respond to something that she wanted him to respond to. And the story, and there was a gap because they were swimming. And the story that she made up in her head is like, oh my God, like, she goes into all these crazy things. Like, he doesn't like me. He doesn't care about what I'm saying after all these years.
The plot thickens. And
and it was just really, she dissects how stories are made.
Damn.
Like, it was really interesting because it reminds me of the mindfulness and the stoic behavior, which is just like, you can't make up a story if you find yourself, if you are being honest with yourself, being truthful with yourself.
Yeah, centering yourself is...
You're not writing a fairy tale.
Yeah.
What happened, happened. What is. So stop writing things and saying people are putting you down or people are affecting you. And like I said...
what's going to happen to the social justice warriors, bro?
Dude, there's interesting shit on that too, man.
Is there?
Oh man. I mean, well, because... like that's... what did I just hear? And whether you like him, I don't know him. I mean, I'm straight in the middle, really.
What?
Middle, like, politically.
Oh, gotcha.
Because social justice warriors are technically, you would say, left-wingers.
Everything, dude.
Yeah, but this guy, Ben Shapiro, he was recently on Rogan.
Yeah.
And I don't really know who he is.
I don't know who he is.
I was just driving a lot, so I was listening to it.
Yeah.
And he had some, I mean, they were talking about this social justice warrior thing.
He's so obsessed with us, Rogan. It's funny as fuck.
Well,
same with Below.
He is, but I think it's because of the way he thinks, right? Like the kind of that intellectual curiosity
too.
Huh?
I bet he gets a lot of them too. He's got a big following.
Yeah, because
obviously.
Well, anyway, they were kind of talking about whatever issue they were talking about. I don't really want to get into it. It was like it was something about it was about transsexuals.
Okay.
But that's not the point of the story.
Yeah.
But the point of the story, like social justice warriors. Yeah, I mean, it was that was just what they were talking about. But the point of the story is like that is someone else. They're not telling themselves, and this is again Do not take this the wrong way. It has nothing to do with that. But someone that is forcing an opinion upon you and forcing you to do these things, whatever that may be, is really not like they're seeking you to validate them when you don't agree, and maybe you don't agree, maybe you just don't give a shit. But if you implement those into laws, that's kind of what he was saying. Like now you're forcing validation for something that shouldn't be validated under a law or something like that. And I don't want to it's hard to say it now that I'm saying it without getting into the weeds or putting it in a topic. But again, it wasn't about that. It was kind of interesting because it goes hand in hand with that story, right? Like
you're starting to create these characters.
You're expecting someone else. That's what people hate about a social justice warrior, is like the guy that's like, feminine, like and he's trying to sleep with the fucking girl, but he's not being honest with his goddamn self.
Course.
And it's
there it is.
I mean, dude, at the end of the day, you have a penis. Yeah, we're not. Most men don't think putting women down or beating them or fucking treating them like lower humans. But God, you got to stand out, right? Yeah, because you like Britney and you want to have sex with her.
What was that Rogan thing that he had people watch that video where they're like, men were apologizing to women, but they're all the scummy ones.
Yeah, and that, like
they're just trying to get laid.
But that's the thing, right? Like that's the story. It's about those stories that you're telling yourself that kind of mold who you are and mold these. It molds that crazy social justice thing. We've never seen something like that before, right?
Never.
But it's really, you got to be okay with, like, yourself and your interactions.
People are, man. And you know what's crazy is I think we're getting, that's a really great observation, because we're getting away from us. We're getting away from time to ourselves. And that comes into, that can tie back into meditation, the mindfulness, and really focusing your energies on just you in the beginning. I'm going to start trying this week. Sorry, fuck it, tomorrow. I'm just going to wake up and I'm going to do the Marxist and just, I'm going to be grateful for 5 minutes in the morning. I'm going to try that tomorrow, because it's just, I want to start getting good rituals. I mean, that's why Tim Ferriss is really interesting, because I think a lot of the questions he asks people is like, what's your ritual? What do you do in the morning? There's something about these geniuses, in the morning. Something about that morning that will probably defer people from being lazy as fuck, eating like shit, withdrawing from the pleasure bank, those are on Between X and Z trademark, and not getting their tasks done. So tomorrow morning I'm going to start a decent ritual, being grateful, and see what's going on.
Make sure you get out of bed, because I did this once.
Then you get fucking snooze. I'm grateful for this
bed. I read somewhere that some dude did it in bed. Like
no.
I swear to God, this is a true story. And I'm sitting there like, I'm grateful for this. Next thing you know, I'm fucking an hour late. And
from
I'm like,
work.
Oh,
guy gets fired. Wife leaves him.
Yeah, I'm real grateful. Stupid practice, But,
right,
but again, my fault.
Blaming. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pay my dentist thing tomorrow. By the way, I'm not gonna. I was thinking I was still in this mean thing I was gonna say and fucking try to fight it. And I'm not coming back unless you waive it, bro. Mm-hmm. No. Well, how do I pay?
You'll never get my business again.
How do I pay? Okay, thank you. Done. It's over.
Won't happen again.
Maybe.
Well,
no,
won't.
It's the first one I've ever had.
It won't affect you.
It probably won't.
It won't affect you the same way, right?
Well, it happens again. It's
just like learning anything else, right? No, but I mean, it is. It's the more you do it, the more you practice it, and find whatever works for you. Because like for like I said, for about a year and a half, meditation didn't work for me, and I thought this shit's stupid. Like, I'm not doing this. So, and I'm searching. I love the idea of kind of putting that ritual together, because if there's two things I feel people that are really successful is very good at scheduling. Don't give a shit what other people think. And I don't mean that in like a cocky, bad way.
Boom.
They do themselves.
Yeah.
I'm going to do me. Yeah. Right? And if you're being honest with yourself, and self-honesty is the other one, right? Like, those are the big three for me, right? Scheduling, self-honesty, and not giving a shit. And really, if you look at all those mine is scheduling.
No, scheduling's big. That's huge on Tim Ferriss' 4-hour work.
Scheduling's big.
It's huge.
But to me, the other ones are really those ego directives. Like, you really got to break the ego to not give a shit about what anyone thinks, or not compare, and all this shit. That's all ego stuff. So yeah, man, I mean,
why doesn't everybody, whoever's listening, do a ritual starting tomorrow? I don't care if it's a morning dump, whatever you want to do. If you're reading Wall Street Journal, whatever it is, do it. Focus yourself. Try to be mindful. That dream last night.
A healthy ritual, though.
Healthy, yeah. Don't get up and wake and bake or something. But like, I don't know. There was just something about me focusing on this detailed objects, whatever it was. It could have been like a skis or something, or a plant or whatever. And I just could see detailed so far that I'd never seen that before. I must have been like with a dream within a dream, because then I started that dream. But it was so cool because I realized that in my head I could focus as much as I could want. It's up to me. Mm-hmm. It's up to me to focus. So yeah, try it.
Yeah, man. Let's wrap this thing up. I mean, it's there's a lot here. It's
Digest
great.
It.
It's something we all got to just keep trying to do. But I think it's a topic that's really relevant, especially for our age, right? We're this like fucking sporadic age where we're just kind of hopping around and doing things. Man. So
it's weird.
Find something, try it, and again, always let us know. Let us know how we're doing, and just keep climbing, guys. I am Dozer.
This is Wallace. Member Twitter, Instagram, iTunes, subscribe, comment.
See ya
later.